what's up, friends? Don't look at him yet. He's not on the show yet. All right, here we go. What I want you guys to know, it's a great day for grappling. It's your good friend, Rafa Esparza. It's been a while since we've seen each other. I've been pretty busy, but here's the good news. I've been up to a lot of very good things. We've got 2 interviews in the pipeline that are coming up very soon. They actually take me out to both a bar and a gym for 2 separate episodes. So we'll have a very special episode of Grappling Hour coming out later this week that'll feature myself and Milton Agreo going over some questions. He got to ask me questions, I asked him questions, and then of course Sven Manson over at his new gym, Strength and Mobility. But today we have major issues that we need to attend to. Now, here's what I enjoy about our guest here today. Not only is he a competitor, but he's somebody who says, you know, Raf, sometimes I see things that the community isn't doing. I see opportunities that grapplers need, so I will facilitate those opportunities. And I recently had the opportunity to provide commentary with Big J at one of his events, but he decided to up the ante by making a Survivor Series variation of his infamous tournament. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the show our good friend, ZACH MASLANY. Zach, how are you doing, sir?
What's up, bro? Thank you for having me on, man. Pumped to be back. It's like my 4th appearance on here, I think, which is pretty dope.
I mean, between Verbal Tap and this one, yes, you've been on a few times.
A bunch of them, yeah.
But, you know, I mean, I host multiple shows, so that's not your fault. My issue here is, sir, is this. First of all, I don't know if the fans know this, but it is 11:15 your time. And you also were flying back this morning to be, obviously back home, but you're making the time to stay up late with us. So tell the people where you were so that they know what a true achievement this is, that you're still upright at this hour.
Actually, this one's not even that bad. We just got back. We got back this morning from Miami. We flew down. We're in Pennsylvania, so Philly to Miami is only like 3 hours, but still it's annoying because you have to drive an hour to Philly and then drive an hour back, or driving to drop the car off, get the rental car, do all that stuff. And then we flew to Miami for me and JM's second black belt that we have. Gabe Tejada's running 10th Plan at Miami. So if you guys are ever down South Beach, if you're down there driving speedboats, hanging out with the fake Rick Ross or whatever you're doing, then hit up Gabe. It's in Pembroke Pines, but we just did the grand opening for that. That was Saturday. JM competed in the Jits King Friday night, and then we watched that. So Boogie competed. We were up late, and then Saturday was a grand opening. Had dinner, passed out, and then flew home yesterday, and now we're here. Or no, flew home today. I don't even know what day it is.
It's an impressive series of turnarounds, my friend. So I'm very happy that you were doing this. Tell us a little bit about the new gym. I mean, when I ran into Gabe when I was out there with y'all, he was just, in the process of getting the final touches together. So what does it feel like? Is it Scarface inspired? Is it Grand Theft Auto inspired? Because I keep seeing different variations of what it looks like.
Yeah, we keep putting up stupid memes and shit like that with our faces on the Miami Vice guys and all that stuff. But it looks great. It looks all the schools that we have are this one, that our Allentown location, and now the Bethlehem one's bigger, but they all kind of start the same. It's just like a rectangle box. He's got gray mats, and then just put white on the wall. So he had to have some type of white down there to make it look cool. But the wall pads are white. The logo is real dope. But we need to get some like Miami Dolphins colored stuff, or the U. Everything orange. That's what I told him.
and that is one of the key traits to having any kind of 10th Planet is you have to establish your own vibe. Like it has to exist, live, breathe as its own sort of entity. Because everybody goes, well, I just had a friend yesterday I was training with. He's like, man, so 10th Planet, huh? And I was like, you don't know what you're talking about, but sure. And he just goes, yeah, so this is one of, and I was like, hundreds, dude. Hundreds, my friend.
Yeah, and all the 10 planets have like their own little. What's cool is like a lot of the guys have their own factions. So there's all these different areas, and then there's the Freaks, and then there's the Monster Squad, and then there's our guys, which we call ourselves the Finishers. So there's like there's Finishers Southeast, but it's also Miami, you know what I mean? And Finishers, so we just keep adding stuff. And then there's Finishers Sub Only, Finishers Podcast. So everybody, what's cool about Eddie is he lets everybody brand themselves really nice. And, people recognize, oh, those are the Freaks. They know Gio and Boogie and all their crew, and then they know all the Finishers guys. So it's tough to keep up with, though. There's so many different things. Like, it's hard to keep up with. There's another school opening up in Palmdale. Is that at, where the hell's that at? I don't even know where that is. Do you have any idea where Palmdale is?
Palmdale is, yeah, I am vaguely familiar with it, but I like the idea, though, that we're getting to the point where out in California, there's just too many. And I feel like at some point, Eddie's going to have to start doing, we're going to start getting scenes straight out of, like, mob movies where it's like, listen, you don't touch the four corners. When you get to the four corners of the valley, you look the other way.
It's already getting pretty like that because guys want to, they're like, after a certain point, you're like, okay, man, I got my, I'm a brown belt, I'm a black belt. I'm not making any money. I got to open up my own school. Where am I going to go? And then someone's like, nah, I'm already over here, dog. You can't come here.
Yeah. It's an intense sort of thing, but well, obviously, our best wishes to Gabe. I was very happy to hear him talk about it when I was out there, and it was cool. I got to train with him a little bit. It was a great guy. So, it was one of my first times really training ever with him. So you always get that opportunity afterwards where I'm like, what are you up to and what are you doing? I hear everybody telling you about a gym. Are you opening up a gym and when and how? And he was very gracious. So
yeah, he moved him and his whole family down there. So he was nervous as hell to do it, but it seems to be all working out. So it's looking good.
Well, it's good. I mean, here's the nice part. I mean, most of California has like a base, Casey being the exception of having maybe like kind of two states to them. You guys are starting to like cover the whole East Coast.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal. I want to try to have like, we don't want to make it too big to where like the people can't, because I feel like that could happen. Like if you spread your team out too thin and then no one's any good, you got a bunch of schools with a bunch of guys who stink. So, we got to slowly progress out, not all at once.
Well, we do have a comment that just chimed in. This one's from J.M. Holland, a fan, I think, who says, yo, say my name, and mission accomplished, friend. So, JM, of course.
What up, JM? Yeah, he was on the trip with me. He competed Friday night, so he's going to Iceland coming up this week.
Oh, shit.
So he's going to be gone for a little bit. Yeah, that's why I'm in the team tournament, and he's not in it. So now I'm promoting it, running it, and competing in it, too. So this should be interesting.
I got to be honest, man. Getting to see you work, it was something to behold because... seeing it from far away is you have a certain image in your head of how it looks and how the machine operates. But it was kind of cool because coming from BJJ Fanatics, which also was a big kind of production show, I would say yours was comparable, if not better, in a number of areas, just in how it was that you were addressing it and you were tech directing while also running the tournament, which are two different things. So obviously you have Ross, who is a godsend. That dude, man, I need 5 of him. Send him my way, dude.
I know everybody's always like, dude, we need a Ross. I'm like, we got so lucky that we have a bunch of guys that, and not just Ross, but the community people that help us do this makes it all work. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, like I feel like I'm wearing like 9 different hats that day when I'm doing it. This time though, I have a lot of help with some of the guys, so I'm like, gonna have to step off a little bit because I don't want to like be paying attention too much to what's going on and get my ass handed to me on live stream. So
or you're also the guy who's like, I think it's already been 8 minutes. I think we're good.
Yeah.
I think my overtime time was better than his according to my watch. So we're advancing here.
Yeah, I would, dude. We don't take it. That was the other thing people were talking about, like when we were at the Jits King Friday. They and it was shout out to the guys at Jits King. Great promotion. Thanks for having us in it. So don't think this is negative, but most shows do this where they have music of the guys coming out, and then each guy's entrance takes 4 to 5 minutes. So like every match was ours was long as shit because it was like our 10th event. We added like 1 million matches, but I mean, dude, they had way less matches and it took like way longer. So, and these are the things that you learn. Like, I don't know this. So I'm like, all right, mental note, less matches and, don't have intros that take 20 minutes for each guy,
Well, what's
the
funny,
match is 6 minutes.
We were chatting about this a little bit afterwards. You guys very nicely kept an invitation to me to go visit the gym. And when we got the chance to kind of shoot the shit, you were talking about like, man, yeah, we learned this, we did that. And I was just kind of like, yeah, I mean, I get it. I'm the same way, but you're fine. Like when you're like, oh, we kept people there till 1 a.m. And I was like, bro, do you know how sorry I feel for you guys when I see an event in Cali going to the 9 p.m. hour and I'm like, and we don't give a shit. We're just like, stay up or go to bed. We'll read it
Oh,
tomorrow.
I know, yeah. Most people fall asleep. Like I'll do pretty good. Like my wife, she'll fall asleep on the couch while we're watching combat jiu-jitsu or something. But it doesn't start till 9 out here.
I know.
And I was like, damn, this is gonna be late. UFC is the same way though.
I know.
You know, I often it gets so weird when I'm in Vegas or I'm in Cali, and I'm like, it's over. I'm like, what time is it? And they're like, it's 10 o'clock or 11. I'm like, what? That doesn't even make sense. It's just starting by us at 10. The main card starts at 10, so. You know, if there's like three 5-round fights, it might go till 132. You know, you got to stay up late to see Ronda Rousey get KO'd.
Oh
you know what I mean?
Shit. Yeah, I remember. I had a good opportunity to make a series of memes when Ronda Rousey was doing it, because they would push, and they push that extra half hour to give like that grand entrance.
Yeah.
You know, and I always get a little nervous for you guys on that, because I'm like, you know, hey, when I'm pushing 10:30, I'm like, how long is this press conference gonna go? Because
and then think about it, the people are at the bars. People are at the bars out here until that late. So when it lets out, I mean, that's why I don't go out anymore. That's one of the reasons why I don't go out.
Well, one of the jokes that I was telling people was, you know, the only thing that was a little upsetting was after commentating your event, I was like, oh, this is fine, no big deal. I'm just going to grab some food. And whenever I go somewhere new, I was looking for, you know, just to be like, listen, I want something in Philadelphia, something that I can't get back home. And I'm at a Taco Bell eating by myself. Okay, so that's really what we're at.
That is one huge problem that we have out here on the East Coast. Sometimes, like, nothing's open except Wawa or like a convenience store, and they all suck. I've literally eaten everything off that Wawa menu. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And then I'm not really about fast food, so it's like grocery store old chicken nuggets or some shit. I mean, you know, that's pretty much what's left.
I was ready to, you know, pull the trigger on like anything. I didn't worry about, like, that was not a trip where I was like, let's count calories. That was a trip where I was like, just give me the good food. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, I messaged my wife and I was like, I'm having Taco Bell like myself in the car right now before I go back and you know, start to close things up. And she was just like, you know, it sounds okay. And I was like, yeah, but I was trying to get a nice delicacy here. I didn't know I was just gonna.
If you were in Philly, you could have got some stuff, because Philly, they stay open late in the city. But out by us, man, there's no good food open late. Unfortunately,
and that's the hard part. Is like, then when you don't want to be the idiot that's driving around that doesn't know where anything is and being like, what is a Wawa and why what do you do Wawa? Well, again, I want to, just because we had Jay on, I think he was watching earlier, so I don't know if he's still with us. But I have to say, it was a great moment to get to share a mic with Jay, and part of my want to work with you guys on this one was, you know, I think you get to a point when you do collaborations or you work with people and you just go, I just want to work with people who do dope shit. Like, people who are focused and nice and all those sort of things, that's great. But like, you guys were doing something that felt unique and special, and getting to see it live and getting to see how people were competing and the vibe, the community vibe that I felt did exist. So nice. It's a true testament to what it is that you guys have built out there. And I really wish there was more ways to see that on the telecast, because you see the crowd. Yeah, you see the people, but like, you don't get how much this means to people necessarily, just because you're watching the competition. But I was like, oh shit, that's pretty awesome. Jay says, yo homies, love you guys. Thank you very much, Jay. I don't know how you do this, Jay, because don't you have to be up at like 5 or 6 a.m. to be putting on Monster Squad, Killers?
Oh yeah, they got early ass classes. I can't do those, dude. I mean, if Big J was my coach, then obviously I would make it. But dude, when I'm the coach at 6 a.m., it's not happening. Yeah, no. I'm like, come at 10.
I'm currently with a new job that is a great job, but you know, some of my training is like me telling people like, who wants to train at 5 a.m.? Yay, let's do it.
Although I will say, when I do get up early though and work out, I feel much better when I get the rest of the day going. It's just a matter of getting out of bed, and I'm getting old and I'm feeling jacked up in the morning, and I'm like, oh, all right, we'll wait till noon.
Yeah, I you know, wish I could have better problems, but that's the whole thing. Is I was like, oh, it's a good job and I like it, but you know, you got to give a little bit, but it brings a different commitment out of you. Let's talk about this event though, because when did you start getting the idea that you wanted to go Survivor Series? I saw that you specifically were looking at a couple clips, and that you put up these pro wrestling clips from like Survivor Series, and I was like, what are you up to? Like, Zach, what is this? Are you really going to pull the trigger and call it that? Because to me, I was like, you know, we keep dicking around with Quintet as a name. But I was like,
Well,
anytime somebody didn't know what it was, I just go, oh, it's grappling version of Survivor Series. That's it.
yeah. Well, I mean, I grew up watching WWF like a lot of people on WWE or whatever it's called now. And I loved all the shows back in the day. The Royal Rumble is obviously my favorite. You can't go wrong with the Royal Rumble because you get to see everybody. And then the Survivor Series was always dope because my grandma would always have Thanksgiving, and it'd always be around Thanksgiving and we'd off school. So I'd go over there, and then they had the cheater box. Remember, I don't know if you remember those back in the day.
I do.
We had the cheater boxes where the cable would hook into the thing, and my grandpa came back with them, and then all of a sudden you had every channel. You had the every Mike Tyson fight. You had every WWF. You had every porn channel, which was like 2, I think, back in the day. But there was you had everything. You had every single channel, and we would just watch. Would watch a Survivor Series, and I always remember there was especially one where it was like Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior. They were all on the same team, like the Road Warriors and the Texas Tornado, I think, was the team. And every time like something in Jiu-Jitsu comes up, it's easy for me to look back and just, not that I'm giving away all my ideas right now, but it's easy to look back at WWF and just shank all their ideas. Now, I didn't come up with EBI, and that's what we did. The number finishers 1 through 10. I didn't come up with EBI rules. But we took, Eddie was like, hey, use that. And then when we heard about quintet, and then I saw, I've been to one quintet. I was at the quintet in Japan, the women's quintet. And that was really exciting, even though no one in Japan in the crowd says or yells or anything. Me and JM are the only two loudmouth screaming from the side. You can hear us yelling from one side and hear Eddie Bravo echoing from the other side. And then I saw, at the 10th Planet every year has an eclipse, like a year end party. Eddie, this year the party was at a satanic club for some reason because Eddie's crazy. And then but they had a team tournament, and a bunch of the different 10 planets, brought all their like purples and brown belts and stuff. And all the coaches, like Phil had a team, Tony Beachek had a team, the Freaks had a squad, Alan Sanchez and Big Red, their whole team. And it was cool because when the guys were going at it, like if you've never seen the team tournament before, like it's crazier than just a one-on-one match because all the guys are into it. Like your whole squad is there, and everybody's, we're always a home team at finishers, because it's usually close and all of our squad comes up. But then you got the Henzo guys too, and they're not far away, so their whole squad will be there. So if we face off with them in the finals or something, it's going to be nuts because you get one win for your team and everybody's going nuts. And then the hype of like when it's your turn to go and the other guy before you just won or lost or whatever, and you're getting ready to go, and made it crazy. The 10 Planet HQ Eclipse quintet or whatever the hell it was called was pretty wild. Like everybody was into it. There were so many blow-ups, you know what I mean? And it was just really exciting. So I'm like, shit, we got to do a quintet. We got to do a quintet thing, and we're not going to call it quintet. Actually, I don't know do you know about this? They said you can't call it quintet or something like that. Like UFC and quintet was going to go after people or something if you called your team, if you called your tournament. Right. Yeah, if you called your tournament quintet. So we didn't call it quintet. We were just like, all right, let's call it Survivor Series. We did that too with one of the other ones. We called it Saturday night's main event because it was like a Saturday main event. And they used to have that in WWF all the time too. So, we just make it a little bit different. And then the way we changed this one, and I can't remember whether it was my idea or whether it was Eddie's idea. It was probably Eddie's idea, but at ADCC, this past one in Anaheim, oh yeah, that's right, you were there. We were hanging out, and then I was sitting with Eddie, like Matt's side. He was actually, I don't know if I told you this, but we were sitting Matt's side he was watching the Browns-Ravens game on his cell phone, like during ADCC. Like Buchecha was going at it with Kenyon Duarte like 5 feet from us, and he was like, oh shit, the Browns just scored. It was pretty crazy. We were watching the game and watching that, and we were just coming up with ideas. Like a lot of times I'll just try to spitball stuff off them, and because now I'm sure you guys have seen this, but they're going to do the combat jiu-jitsu with teams, the team combat jiu-jitsu tournament.
I've heard rumors of this, yes.
Yeah, it's getting going. 10 Planet's going to have qualifiers. They're going to have 5 guys on the team. And it's the same like ours, though, because in quintet, usual quintet rules, it's like you have a weight limit. So it's like 800 pounds. So like if you guys have ever seen any of the other ones, like Gio had to face Boogie lost to the guy.
It was,
and then Gio I can't remember his name.
Hold on. I keep wanting to call him Flo Rida, and that's so disrespectful. but it was
He got the hairdo though.
it was Risa, right? It was yes, him.
Really big tall guy. And then Gio ended up choking him out.
Yeah.
And then there was another good example of how cool it is when the 10 Planet team went against Polaris. And then I don't remember who the first match was, but like PJ tapped out somebody really good, like did he tap out like Shaolin Hiberio or something like that? Or no?
That was the one in
Vitor
Vegas. I was there for that one covering it, and it was when they basically bought Gordon Ryan to be a ringer for it was Team Alpha Male.
Yeah, he just mobbed everybody because like one guy couldn't beat everybody. And then when you face the smaller guys, it's kind of tough. There's usually – so what we did with this one is we just decided to make it – all the competitors have to be 145 pounds. So you get 5 guys and everybody's going to make we give the pound allowance, but you got to make 146 at 9 a.m. And then so it should be, somewhat fair. The weights are the same, so there's not like big weight discrepancy. So I feel like the matches are going to be pretty crazy. And then Combat Jiu-Jitsu is going to do the same thing also because they didn't want to have like a guy who was 190 slapping the shit out of a guy who was 135. So they changed the rules on that too, but that's cool. And then, so 5 guys to a team. We got 6 teams, and there's some pretty high-level guys in this. So I'm really excited to see some of these matchups because with the teams too, it's not like because it's not a set-up super fight. You're not really sure you don't know who's gonna go against each other because the teams like they have to give their lineup to the referee like right before the match goes, so no one knows who's going first.
So we're talking, I want to make sure I'm clear on this. So that means for your event, you don't even know who's going up against each other, or is this for Eddie's version of?
Yeah, both.
Whoa.
So for ours, like for instance, let's say because there's the 10 Planet Finishers team, right, and then there's the Henzo's team. So when we go against each other, well, actually, it doesn't work like that. The first round, whoever you face, you put in your 5, and then they put in their 5. And then, the referee or whoever's up there will just say, okay, the first guy on your squad is this guy. The first guy on that squad is this guy. And then you go down the line. So you don't know what the lineup is till like 5 minutes before the match. I don't know if that's how Quintet does it, but that's what we're going to do. You submit your lineup like right before it's about to start.
What's funny is I would know this information because I tend to try and pay attention to these things if they had commentary worth listening to. So if it was helpful and they would give you that
They
insight.
didn't explain that, right?
You know what they do is they kind of like bury the lead. So that's usually information you start off a program with and you say like, oh, hey, BT dubs, these are the rules. Here's how it's going to go. I've watched, like I have a certain amount before I just go mute. And that was starting to exceed the amount of doing it. Jarrell Garcia says this is going to be a dope event. So maybe this would be a good opportunity, since we have your 10th Planet brethren out here, to say who is a part of 10th Planet finishers on your team. Because there are 6 teams, so I want to get to these people.
Yeah, so my squad, obviously all the squads started with certain people, and then things got lost. Like a couple guys got injured. Lewis got injured. JM's going to be in Iceland. So right now our team is me, Ray from 10 Planet NYC, Tony Burchek, he's from 10 Planet Tucson, Arizona. You guys know Tony, he's been in UFC. 10 Planet black belt, he's a black belt under Gio and Boogie, Ricky Lule. He just competed too. And then our black belt from 10 Planet Miami, Gabe Tejada. So it's the 5 of us. And then your boy. I'm in it too. And then the favorite team, I think, out of everybody, just because they got Ethan Krellinston on the team, who actually just won the Jits King. And I was standing about 5 feet from that. And, dude, I don't know. I mean, I'm very optimistic and I believe in myself. And I went against Ethan before. But, dude, taking a look at him and the way he was rolling, dude, holy shit. I don't know if anybody in this tournament can beat him or tap him, but I mean, anything is possible. He did almost get triangled by a 16-year-old kid. That being said, that's not a regular 16-year-old kid.
Yeah.
The Tackett brothers are insane. So, I mean, anything can happen. But I think we're going to have to try to stall Ethan out. I'm sure he's probably aware of that. And dude, he got huge. He looks like an orangutan, dude. He looks like his chest and arms, dude. I'm like, fuck, dude. I don't know what I'm going to do against that guy.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of him getting all swole. I thought that was something we didn't need. I saw him and I was like, oh, okay, Ethan's kind of normal shaped. And now that I started seeing more like of this developing, and I was like, whoa, slow down, kid. We're good.
he's got like his arms are huge and his chest is, I don't know what's up with my chest. I've been lifting for years. I can't figure out how to get that. I mean, some of these guys, it's like Thor. It's like, how do you get to, I don't understand. But so Ethan, and then there's Frankie Rosenthal's on that team. Damian Anderson, one of Gary Tonan's students, Chris Sodbenwile. I don't know if you guys have seen him before. He doesn't compete that much, but he's really good.
He's a little surprise attacker. Like I know him. Yeah.
Yeah, he tapped. He hadn't competed in a long time, and then he just jumped in and tapped Jordan Holy at one of the finishers tournaments. Was really sick. And then their last guy is Eric Sherman. He's a black belt under Donaher, and he's actually Frankie's cousin. So that's a solid team right there. The Henzo squad is always coming, and you know what? I love those guys because they always bring it. Every time we have a tournament, they're going to have their guys in it. You know, Gary's going to come down, Gordon's going to come down. They're going to come down, support their crew. So I give those guys a lot of respect and they know every time they come, they're going to have to fight us, whether they beat us or not. We're going to have to go at it, and I love that shit. You know what I mean? I love that a part of, especially on the East Coast. Like guys don't know. They're like, I remember back in the day. They're like, I don't know about this Cummings guy. I'm like, dude, I've known about these guys for a long time. They're on the scene out here. Like we have to go against these freaking guys. But then there's a bunch of other teams. The Uchiha clan, which is a pretty cool name. I forget. It has something to do with anime or something like that. I'm sure it's like a Pokemon or something like that. And the guys are going to get pissed at me and want to stab me for that. But I'm old, so it doesn't matter. But Spencer Mume, you guys know him. He was in combat jiu-jitsu. He competed in Jits King on Friday too. He's got a squad. It's him, Aiden Collins, Joey Ligo, Steven Kozlau, and Ruben Beard. They're all from Florida, so it's like a Florida squad. Another team that people are sleeping. I don't know if they're sleeping on it or not, but their team name is the Other Guys. Have you seen that one?
I have, and I gotta say, you know, I love that because I think they come into the tournament knowing the guns that they've got in this. And I think that they just were like, you know what, we're the other guys. Fuck it. That's what we're going to do. We're going to lead into it. But tell us who's on this team, because I'm looking at this list with you right now. And it's still, you're right to call them, don't overlook them.
Yeah, they got, so their team captain, I would say, is John Battle. And, John, he just got his black belt this past year. I faced him a couple of times. And he's a guy who can give Ethan a run for his money. I know he's faced him before. He's faced Frank. Faced a lot of those guys, got a lot of experience, still a real young kid. And, Battle's very exciting to watch. He's been in EBI. And then he's got Julian Banner on his team. He's a training partner of John's, and I've known Julian for a while. He won like the Radius Invitational a while ago, but he's another guy like Sadler now. He doesn't compete all that much, but he's a sleeper. He's a beast. And a lot of people are excited to see him go. Zach Green, you guys know him. He's a black belt. Javier Palomo, he's a black belt from Chicago, and Tim McNamara, and Tim's been competing on everything. He was on Grappling Idiots, he was in the finishers, he pretty much competes in everything. And I gotta say, a shout out to Tim. I love his Instagram. If you guys follow Tim, I think it's Z's Grappler on Instagram. Follow him, dude. He puts up the memes that I would never put up just because kids follow me and stuff like that. So he puts up all the ones that I can't put up, which is classic.
Good. I want to take a moment to just discuss this because that's already 4 teams. So now we've got 2 left in this. So how does that work?
So 8 teams wanted in, a couple guys got hurt, but what we're going to do is we have a grip of super fights too, but we're going to have like the first 2 of the teams are going to get a bye, and then the other 4 teams are going to face each other, and then the 2 teams that come out of the pigtail, if you will call it, they win the pigtail match, and then they come in and face. So it depends on whether you think to win the team tournament, unless you have one guy like a Gordon who could just mash your whole team, you probably will only, even if you have to beat 3 other teams, you're probably only going to compete 3 times in a night. Mm-hmm. So if to win the regular finishers tournament or to win an EBI style tournament when there's 16 guys, usually you have to win 4 matches. So even if you have to compete 3 times, it's not as bad as winning having to win the whole 16-man bracket.
And let's hold here because I want to ask a clarifying question. You said at most you're competing 3 times. So does that mean it's a lineup of this person versus this person? They don't stay in, or how's that?
Yeah, work? No, they stay in. But I'm saying if you lost or something like that,
maximum of 3 bouts to win.
Right, exactly. Unless you just wash a guy. Unless you just like the one tournament in Cali, or the one team match that they had, the one guy beat 3 dudes, threw up a couple of times. He was thrown up in a trash can, and then another guy came in and I think beat their whole squad. Like, I think the last guy on one team was huge, came in, beat everybody. And, so
it's something to behold when we get to that throw up moment, because these are the questions that we get asked as reporters. They're like, "Can you confirm there's throw up?" And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I can." And cool to know that's my clarifying job as media here. Ask the right questions, everybody. You
dude, did he puke? Yeah, so you're right though. They could go a couple more matches, but like exactly we said, a maximum of 3 bouts. And then the 2 teams, so it depends. It might be good to get a little warm up and beat one of the teams first and then come in hot, as opposed to waiting around all day and then having to compete against guys who already went. Because I know myself, I'm usually better in the second match. Even if I win the first match, I'm usually more warmed up and loose in the second one. The first one, I'm usually like, oh shit, I don't even know if I should be here. I'm scared, I'm nervous, I'm about to throw up myself. Then you get out there and then sometimes you lose. You're like, damn, I could have did way better. I just want that second match. So it depends. Sometimes people might feel better in the second one. But the other 2 teams, I don't want to skip them. 10 Planet Montreal, they're sending a team, so they're going to be on the other side of our squad, so we don't have to face them unless it's the finals. But Montreal's got a bunch of guys. A couple of their dudes got injured, so they picked up some random hitters. But they got George. I don't know how to say George's last name. I should probably figure that out. But they got Chris Crawford. I don't know if you know him. He's a purple belt. He's been competing a lot. He won our 35, our 45, and a super fight at the last Finishers Open. So he's the dude won like 9 matches. I'm like, all right, you're on the team. Phil Blanchard, Scott Rodriguez, and Ellis Karadeg round out that team. And then our friends from Show the Art, you guys know them. Mm-hmm. He put together a little team too with Kevon Gonzalez. He's out of Pure. He's a brown belt under Mikey and Andy Main. Ethan Sailors. David Wintraub, he won the high rollers at his weight. Valor Boyer, he's been in our tournament. And then from Abe's school from Show the Art, Dennis Azgun. So got a lot of guys in this, man.
So let me ask this. I mean, everybody obviously puts you guys against, Henzo as a rivalry. But I mean, this used to be the Show the Art Finishers tournament. Is there a little bit of bragging rights between you guys and the Show the Art as well?
Sure. I mean, I'm sure we'll be talking shit if they beat us. You know what I mean? We'll be talking crap at each other. But it is still Show the Art. It's just those guys. They've been so busy. They opened up a coffee shop and stuff. So and he had a kid. Yeah, it's called Muse Coffee. So if you're ever in New Jersey, they're going to be supplying coffee at the tournament too. But if you're ever in New Jersey, look up Muse. So they've just been super busy. So I've been taking the reins on most of the stuff. Abe still helps me out a lot with the sponsors and everything too. So.
Well, how dare they try and make money doing other adventures than jiu-jitsu, so they could fuck off. Okay, so 6 teams. You've also got some super fights. Off the top of your head, what are we looking at with some of these super fights? Because I think one of the hidden little treasures of what y'all do is there is some good matchmaking, because one of the things that's really hard is trying to sell when matches aren't exciting. When you're doing commentary. But we didn't really run into that. We were just kind of like, oh, this is flying by. Like, Jay and I were literally we got to a point where I was like, hey, man, I wanted to see how he vibes and wanted to figure out how we complement each other. And then it just became like, oh, we're just watching Grappling. Like,
you guys killed it.
The stories tell themselves. So we're good,
we try to keep it moving, man. I don't want to take too much time in between. I don't want because sometimes you're about to go. You don't know how many times we were about to go up and then they're like, oh, they're taking an intermission. I'm like, no. So we don't take any intermissions. We just go forward 100%. Once we start, we do I think there's 10 or 11 super fights that are 6 minutes long. So they go pretty quick. And then we'll start the team tournament. And then we got a couple mixed in. And, every time I run one of these tournaments, when people even without prompting or asking them, they want to give me advice on how I should run it. And they're always like, man, you should get Gary Tonin to face Thor. They'll say something like that. And I'll just be like, guys, that's not what the Finishers tournament is. Haven't you watched the number 1 through 10? I'm like, it's always bringing up the next guy. I'm not trying to be EBI. I don't want to be Jits King, or I don't even want to be King of the Mats that does 10 grand, or BJJ Fanatics. I love those tournaments. I'm selling a DVD with BJJ Fanatics, but I'm going to let those guys give out the big money and let them do the big thing. We're always going to bring up the next slew of guys. That's what I want. And Eddie always seems to he trusts us, and he knows that I'm putting in the people that are competing on the scene a lot. So in the super fights, some of the people you might look at this and be like, I see better super fight cards in Kasai. Yeah, no shit, because Rich Byrne's a billionaire and they bring in all the big guys. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I love Rich Byrne. You know, he's the man. He texts us every time we have a match coming up. You know, I love all these other tournaments, and they know that we run the finishers, and they know it's not it's not like a dick measuring contest. I'm staying in my own lane. And we're just bringing up if I see someone who's like, I think this dude's exciting, like Jack Stapleton or Chris Crawford or Ethan Krellinson's little brother. We had him open up the card last time. Someone's like, oh, I recognize that last name. And that's the thing. Like we kind of put on a bunch of dudes. Like our first winners were Gordon Ryan and Mike Davila. And nobody really, I mean, people knew who Gordon Ryan was, but he never won a 16-man tournament before ours and won money. And same with Mike Davila. No one even know who he was. John Battle. All those guys, Frank Rosenthal, they all started in the finishers tournament just because they were out here already on the scene. So we just threw them in. And some of the guys are dying for a spot to do something. Yeah. And if you're up my butt about it, I'm going to give it to you. But we got Zach Edwards is on the card. And like I said, a bunch of guys and girls you might never seen before. But believe me, they're up and coming, like blue, purple, and some brown and black belts. They still won matches too. Like we got Enrique Galarza. He's a black belt from Silver Fox. Taking on Scott Jute Ross. He's a black belt from, I think, under Kyotera, I want to say, but he's from Canada. And then I want to say the main event, Grace Gundrum, the Silent Assassin versus Trinity Pun so it's another 10 Planet Henzo Gracie square off. But Trinity's from Henzo Middletown, I think. And then she trains a lot with Danaher and Stephen Christina and all the guys up there. So they've been wanting a match for a while. So, hey, if you come knocking on Grace's door, we're going to give it to you. If you're within the weight class somewhat, let's do it. Especially in Grace, it's tough for her to get matches. Yeah. So that's the other reason why I have this. So I'm not gonna lie, I promote my own guys on it, and I promote my friends and my students too. So that's one of the other reasons why we keep it going. But I don't think I could stop this if I wanted to. I think people would lynch me and come with stakes lit on fire outside if we stopped doing it. I honestly do.
I mean, it's a good problem to have, and more importantly, it's providing a good service because a lot of those names have become bigger names, and it's, you can say whatever you want about it. There's interpretations of who, what, where, when, how, but I think it speaks for itself in that when you have that record and those people who get the big call up to those next things, you're providing them with those highlights that get them to those next levels. So yeah, that's exactly what we do. That's a huge thing.
And that's one of the reasons why we want to, and I don't have any problems with flow grappling. Like they've been to our school. Like I've hung out with the guys, like they're the man, but we want to keep ours free, and we want to keep the pictures free too. So we take the money that we get off the door and we pay the photographers to take the pictures. And then you got the videos. And then I'm like, yes, please steal everything from us. Steal the videos, steal the photo, do whatever you want, because that's going to help the tournament and yourself.
I mean, you've been very courteous whenever we've asked for footage. I mean, I always try to do the nice thing of like asking to
yeah, most people do.
Well, because the weird part is that people become very protective of their intellectual property. And I think the thought is, and it's something I think that most organizations navigate it, no matter what you do. But like when the UFC says take that down, it's like, cool, well, you have ESPN, so obviously I'm going to see it.
Yeah.
But when people are like, Flow Grappling goes, hey, take that down, I'm like, is everybody going to see this? Like, there's a certain window of how does it help you and help us? But for our educational purposes, for news purposes, there's not a clearances area. The clearances is me messaging you being like, hey, is it good if I do this? Because, like, I'm gonna. And you just go, yeah. So we did have a note here, though. This is from Chris Martin that says, where will we find the link for this event?
All of our events, if you just go on YouTube and search Finisher Sub Only, it should come up. But if you search the Finishers MMA or Finishers anything, when you see it come up, you'll see the little F. It looks like we ripped off the MTV logo. So it says Finishers TV on it. But if you find that, I'll be posting it up on Facebook. If you look at the Finishers Sub Only Instagram, it'll be in the little link up there. You can watch it. And we're going live from the Instagram and stuff all the time too. So, and it's going to be Sunday, February 2nd, Allentown, PA. It's only $20 to get in. It's at a strength and conditioning place, which is cool. So, and I think that's the other vibe of ours. We always take it to like a new place and like drop it somewhere. And like, hey, we're at a strength and conditioning place. Hey, we're in the back of a brothel. Hey, no, we're not. But if we were, that'd be cool too. You know what I mean? We always put in somewhere where like, it's kind of underground. We kind of bill it as like the underground sub only scene. So
let me ask this. So it's on Sunday.
yes.
Is there something else that airs on Sunday?
Golden Girls comes on Sundays. Oh, wait, the Super Bowl.
Right.
That's the Sunday, yeah.
So how is the airing going to happen?
Well, the Super Bowl doesn't start till 6 out here, I think. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what time it starts for you guys. Probably early as shit then, huh?
3:15, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So we'll start at noon out here. So the event will be done by the time the Super Bowl starts, which is good. But also, I asked a lot of people, only out of all the people I talked to on this event, only one person asked me. They're like, hey, isn't that Super Bowl Sunday? And I was like, oh, yeah, it is. And they're like, oh, okay, I was just asking. I was like, all right. But nobody else seemed to really care.
So this is the weird part is that Super Bowl from my brand of jiu-jitsu folk is usually like the one day everybody kind of goes, yeah, I'll tune into that one.
Yeah, I'll watch that game.
and I get that. I understand that. I'm a TV guy, so I understand the numbers support that. But the issue is always counter programming. And even though jiu-jitsu guys, like for me personally, I'm like, well, I need to train. So I don't care what happens, but as long as you guys don't cancel training on Super Bowl Sunday, I don't really give a shit. We can all be done before the game starts. But that's exciting news because you'll have a 6-hour window. You'll have the tournament come and go between that time. So you'll have the opportunity, if you guys are watching at home and you're trying to figure out how you're going to do that, why not watch their event first and then you can watch the Super Bowl in the comfort of your own home or wherever it is that you want to do. And if you're at a party that's a viewing party, why not put it on if you're just gaming? I mean, it just makes
you're
sense.
there. And even if and the cool thing about it being free on YouTube is like you can always go back and like it takes a little bit to load or scrub up because it's like super HD.
Sure.
But you could just go back and rewatch it. So people have that. Tons of people are always watching it later at work or watching it whenever, and then the views keep going up, so that's cool too.
Absolutely. I mean, convenience is a huge thing for views.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, I don't even know. I didn't even know when we booked it, and I talked to the venue. I was like, February 2nd, cool? They're like, cool with us. I'm like, all right, cool, let's do it. And then someone was like, yeah, dude, that's the Super Bowl. I was like, oh, shit. But then I was like, all right, as long as it's not the same time, then it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Because then people can watch both.
And I mean, it's not always going to overlap because our jiu-jitsu nerds are very much the people who are like, Super Bowl? Okay, cool. I just know that, one of the things that we call in TV is we call what's your lead in. So it's like, what is your lead in? So now, I mean, you guys should just be saying you're the lead into the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I was thinking about making a meme or some type of thing where it's like, watch this and then watch the pregame for the Super Bowl or something.
Absolutely. You're the lead-in program to the biggest show of the sports entertainment world, but get the real sports entertainment first from you guys. This is great, dude, and I have to say, I think I'm stuck on here, so hopefully you guys who are watching this aren't getting a stalled stream. There we go. I have to say, dude, the minute I knew you guys were doing this as the next venture, I was so happy to see that that's where you're going, because to me, I think that team grappling is the next thing. I feel like it's the next destination because I've watched a lot of grappling, I've covered a lot of grappling, but it's really hard to replicate how hype people with those narratives and those storylines. And it's a very easy thing to commentate. It's super fun. It makes the teams get invested. And I mean, one of the things that you have to credit Vince McMahon for doing is Vince McMahon would always put himself in the show.
Yeah, I know.
So, it's not too far off from the mark here when you're just like going in there. So, if you can throw in your own power mock as you go in and out, won't be a terribly dumb touch on your part, sir.
Yeah, I'll have to bring out the $1 million strut. That's what you're talking about, right?
Absolutely.
Or whatever that's called.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I got to do that. I told the guys, you know what, this is and people were like, oh man, I'm surprised you didn't try to crowbar yourself into any of the other events. I'm like, we had 10. I didn't do any. I didn't even try to set myself up with a super fight that I knew I could win. I was like, let's just, because this is way more difficult, man, because these guys I'm 36. I mean, I know I'm a black belt, but I've been doing this for a while. Some of these guys are just young up and comers. And it's like, a lot of people don't, and that's the cool thing about the team thing is you're not sure because you're really not sure who you're going to face. So you could get a match like, I might not ever get Ethan Crelinsen's not going to take a super fight against me for no reason anymore. He's already beat me. But in the team tournament, though, maybe get another crack at him just because it's a team thing and like it's not like a setup situation. So
I dig it. One thing I say to the wrestling kids when I go to visit them on Sundays, whenever we're doing our I guess it's both competition training and then wrestling right after, I'll be in there and I'm like, these kids keep getting younger. And,
I know.
I'm not. So cool, everybody. So when people I see some of these guys shooting in for great things, it's like sometimes I just swat them away and I'm like, get away. No.
Not yet. You're not old enough yet.
Yeah, I was like, nah.
I feel like my body's still holding up good, but I feel like I always tell people this too. Like it gives me, I always have to make a deal with myself. Like I'm like, all right, I'm going to need 16 minutes. And my body's like, dude, we're not doing it. I'm like, bro, I need it. And he's like, all right, listen, I'll give you 16 minutes. But then after that, we're going to have to talk. Yeah, we're going to talk.
Well, let me say this. We got a couple things before we start to round third here. Number one, Sam Michael just put up a comment that said, finishers helped pave the way for the sub-only scene to grow on more than just an elite level, gave other little guys a template. Big ups to Zach and the rest of the show, the art people.
Nice, dude. Sam McCall, I love that guy, man. I talk a lot with him just on when he was setting up his tournament and the Global Grappling League and all that stuff. So hopefully, I know he's been working on bringing it back. Hopefully he does. The only thing I would say is have it closer to my house because it's always so far away. But that's the good thing, though, because he's like hitting different we're hitting different locations, which is awesome. He's the one who put on that Marvin versus Nikki match back in the day.
That's true. That is true. That's some good stuff. Well, sir, again, I know it's late over on your side, but I definitely wanted to make sure that we gave you an opportunity to come talk about this event. I know the Super Bowl is kind of a hurdle, but it may be a blessing in disguise because that's the day that most people tend to be home.
Yep.
So, it's something good, but I just always think whenever I see something like this, like I said earlier, it's like you want to help put it out there for people when you see people doing dope shit, and I really feel, especially having gotten to see it like up close in person, like now I have a frame of reference to describe it when I describe what it feels like to other people. And I really feel there's a great community festered vibe. And honestly,
thanks,
dude, the look on those athletes' face too when they get their shine is, you can be on a stage, you can be in a number of different places, but like those guys, you see the look on their face and it's special. So and you're doing it right.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. And I can't thank everybody. I can't thank everybody, but just all the guys that help us out with this and all the people who step up and jump in there, the local schools who have people compete against one another. And they're putting their reputation and pride and bragging rights on the line to go out there and do this. And dude, anyone who competes in our thing, I always tell them, dude, you didn't lose. You just, you learn something to come back. And I'm always going to have people back. Like if you get smoked once, I'm going to have you back. It's no big deal. I've been there, and that's the cool thing about being a competitor too, is like I realize what these guys are going through and how they're trying to make a living out of it. So, man, I take pride in doing this and we're going to keep doing it. And I appreciate you guys like you for putting us on, man. I really do.
Well, I'm always happy to do that, my friends. Sir. Let's say this before we go ahead and close on out. If you're not following us on Grappling Hour on all the major social media platforms, first, what's wrong with you? Second of all, why is it rude of you to even be watching this and not following us? That just seems stupid. So what you should do, go at us at Grappling Hour. We have a goal this year to get 2,500. I said 25,000 the last time. That's not what I'm going for. 2,500 is way more down to earth.